What's up guys, GGFOREX here, welcome back to my channel, and on today's video I want to be going over weekly charts. How do I use the weekly now to better predict, one, where the market is going, what's the order flow, where does price want to go to, where has it been, where could it possibly go to. Also in the weekly areas, I like to see how price reacts to these weekly levels. Like, it's not just saying, oh, this is a weekly level, but I'm about to show you on the charts of when it gets to that area, what does it do? How do I look for certain things? What do I want to see in those weekly areas? And I'm just going to show you how consistent it actually is. Like, I'm not going to trade the weekly because you're looking at hundreds of pips for a stop loss. You could if you're playing the long-term trades. Obviously, you're not going to do that on the prop firm. You're going to do that if you have your own private account. And your private account is quite large because you're going to be getting 1-to-1s, 1-to-2s. But some people like to trade that way. I can't. I trade with a prop firm, so I want to get in and out of the market as fast as possible. So how do I trade it using the weekly levels to my advantage, to get my bias, to understand where the order flow is going and look for entries and exits in that area? So let's just jump on the charts and let me show you what I'm on about. Okay guys, hope you can see my screen here. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at Euro Swiss. I've got a pending on Euro Swiss on the daily time frame, which I'll show at the end of this video. But what do I see? Why am I going with this? Why did I put that pending on in the first place? What am I on about? Well, you have a look, right? We can see that this Euro Swiss for the last, since March 21, has been flagging down, retracing, right? Where's it retracing to? Well, to me, I can see price doing this, okay? And I can see that is clearly trend lines going up here. Trend lines, this is all liquidity that can be violated, which is starting to do now, okay? Why is this area so important? I'll explain to you at the end, but let's just show you the flag of opportunities of what could be happening here, okay? So let's just zoom in a bit so I can show you where I'd be getting into the market, and I'll go and replay tool and break it down too. So we can see this last weekly area, okay? This last weekly candle touched to the body, okay? So right here, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the replay tool off of that. Okay, so we have a weekly area. We can see price pushed up, pushed down, broke this level. So we're looking for the same thing to happen again. Price coming up to the weekly and then to break this level. This broken structure is showing me that the sellers are in control. We've had a huge impulse to the upside. Now we want to see price correcting itself before it makes another impulse. So we know that for the short term on the weekly time frame that price is heading down. So we're going to be looking for sells. So what I want to do at this point is look in this area from the daily time frame to see if there's any points of interest, right? So I can see immediately that this candle here, this daily candle, is right in line with the weekly. Okay, just a bit above. So that's the daily open. So let me just click on that. So we got daily open, and then the one below it is the weekly open. It's got the daily open and a weekly open. So immediately the daily and the weekly open, that is also a powerful area for me, okay? So then I want to get my fibs out. I want to see where it lines up. And in that area, my kill zone is 71 to the 88. That's also in my area for price to possibly retrace to, okay? Because that's a nice discounted price. You're going for like 80% off or 80% to a premium level, okay? It's more of a discount, but obviously I know banks want to sell at a higher price. They buy at a lower price and they sell at a higher price. So let's just slowly work our way down into the time frames of what we can potentially see, right? So I can see that on the 8-hour time frame, this candle came up, mitigated that 8-hour candle. So let's just see if we go to the 4-hour and see if we can see anything that is unmitigated that caused this move. Now what brings to my attention is this 4-hour candle here, and what I'll do is I'll change this to fibs. Right, so that's my fib line, and I'm going to highlight this candle here because this What only does it do, it lines up with a daily and a weekly. It's also unmitigated, and it's also a candle that broke structure to the downside. So this candle was the last up move before breaking down liquidity to the downside, right? Or taking liquidity to the downside. Let me just change the color of it to make it easier for you guys to see what I'm on about. Okay, so I'm looking at this area. Okay, sorry if you can hear like banging and building in the background. It's just next door. Just I don't know what they're doing, but yeah. So this 4-hour candle stands out to me. Okay, it's also in a retracement area. It lines up the weekly, lines up with daily. That candle took liquidity, and if I have a look at, it roughly happened at London Open as well. So a bunch of confluences adding up. Also price going towards that area is also creating more liquidity in the form of a trend line. So it's creating liquidity on the way up. It took liquidity in that position and pushed price lower. So that's where I believe the banks got into the market. Okay, so I believe they want to come back to there. They came close, but not quite close enough to actually want to mitigate out of their orders, okay, to then continue price to the downside, as we've seen on the weekly chart. So for me, I would be comfortable enough to put a pending on this above the high, so it's 24. Now, if the body is here, remember, what do I do, right? From the last video, I now add pad. I add fat to my entries because I'm fed up of getting this close, 0.5 pips away, and then it falling away from me, right? So if it's 23 pips, I'm going to add 3 pips of pad to my entry. So I'm looking at 26 pips stop loss, which is there-ish. Okay, so we got 26 pips stop loss, and where's my TP? My TP is going to be at the bottom of this trend line where people started to buy in, okay? And there's plenty of reasons to go to the downside, but for me, I don't want to be in this trade long. I want to get in, I want to get out, and then look for another opportunity at a later date. This is only a 84 pip TP. I know this price can do a lot more than that, so it's not a TP that's out of reach. It's in a realistic area, okay? So let's just play it out and see what happens. We got in, created more liquidity. You see how it created more liquidity? So more people got in, created more liquidity on this trend line, then going up. But now if you have a look at what's playing out here, you see price getting higher. If you have a look at the RSI, RSI is going down. So we've already got bearish divergence happening on this as well in our area, in our retracement. So you have a little bit of pain for 1-2 days. Let's see how long the pain lasts for. There you go. Price has fallen away and given us another entry if we choose to do so, but I'm just going to let it go and see what happens. There you go. See, so this is how I do it. I look at the weekly, I see what I want to see, and then I see what's left in that weekly candle. What dirt haven't they cleaned up yet? And how is price reacting to that level? Again, click off of this replay mode and see where price is at the moment. And what I'm looking at for this is this daily candle up here. And if you're asking me why, let's just delete everything first and let's just highlight this. So this candle here, why am I looking at that? Well, because of what it did, okay? So price coming down. So people would have been drawing trend lines like this. So people would have seen this rejection, seen it as a possible reversal because it's bouncing off this magical trend line. It didn't. It pushed up, manipulated those early sellers out, then pushed down. But when it's pushed up, what did it hit? What did it hit? It hit beautifully to this weekly open, to the pip, basically right to the body. Came up to this weekly candle, then pushed down, and in that area it manipulated the early retail sellers out of the market. Also, we have divergence, and we have now broken this low, which proves to me that price wants to continue to the downside, and it has created larger, higher time frame liquidity to the downside as well. So to me, this is a liquidity. This is going to be seen as support. As you can see, this support down here is taken. Mitigated that weekly candle, left this daily one up here. If I get the fibs out as well, here to here, it's right exactly in my kill zone, and it's just a nice candle. And we're starting to see a flag, aka a trend line being created, more liquidity to the downside. Okay. Also, we have these equal lows down here. And you got to remember, guys, this is on a daily time frame, so we had a whole week or 2 weeks worth of trading to these downsides. So there's going to be a lot of people that seen this as support, we're buying off this, and have stop losses still below. Okay, so those are my targets. But what I'm actually going for is just this low here. Okay, I'm going for if I go to daily again. Or this 8 hour time frame. No, definitely daily. On this daily, short, putting that on there. Stop loss above the highs. Remember, so if it's 31 or 39, I'm going to go 42 pip. Yeah, roughly 42, so that's my fat. And I'm looking for this. Okay. Roughly a 1 to 4. What I will do is I'll go down to the 4 hour and see if there's anything under here that could stop it. And I'm seeing, and I'm seeing this. Okay. Jesus Christ, it's massive. Let's bring this in a little bit. So we're looking at roughly a 1 to 3.5 of this trade. Again, I don't want to be in it forever. So 1-2 days maybe for this trade to actually continue as order flow to the downside. Okay guys, so that is how I trade. That's how I use the weekly time frame to look for areas of possible reversal, wait to see what's created in that area, wait for proof in that area, and see how price reacts on the way back. Does it shoot back up, or does it flag back up? Does it create more liquidity on the way back up? All these things have to happen for me to want to put a pending on this trade. Do I see manipulation in that area like I have with this one? And is it just a really clean trade for me to potentially set my pending? And on that note, guys, I hope you enjoyed this knowledge bomb. I'll see you in the next one. Like, share, subscribe. If you haven't already, join the GGFOREX group down below, where I put all these ideas and talk to people and discuss a bunch of different things and support, and everyone else puts their trade ideas in it too, which is amazing. And I'm already nearly, well, 900 and something, so I'm near 1,000 members of that already. So it's great. Links down below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.